Sangachadham Sangbadaddham Sangbo Manangshi Janatam Deva Bhagang Yatha Purve Sanjanana Upasate Shamana Mantra Samiti Samani Shamanang Manasah Chittamesham Shamanang Mantram Abhimantraiva Shamanino Bhavishajuhumi Shamani Vayakuti Shamana Hridayani Va Shamanamastu Bo Mano Yathavashu Sahasati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we be united in action. May we be united in speech. May we be united in mind. May we perform our duties and enjoy the fruits equally, as did the wise men of the past. May you be united in prayer. May you be united in your goal. May you be united in your resolve. May you be united in your understanding. May you unite in your offering. Common be our desires, feelings, common be our hearts, unified be our intentions, perfect be the union amongst us. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear friends and devotees, we have a very joyful day today. We have got 4 Swamis. It's very rare to get these Swamis, and we are here to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Sister Nivedita. Nivedita is a figure, Nivedita name is dedication. A person who dedicated her whole life for the cause of India. She became India in her words, in her life, as if India used to manifest, not the physical India, but the spiritual India, the glory of India, what Swami Vivekananda preached to the whole world, the ancient wisdom, the tidbit things of Indian tradition. How rich is that? She used to express those in her writings, in her speeches, and it encouraged the spirit of India. So I am not going to talk on those. We'll hear from our respected Swamis here, and it will be wonderful to note that how Swami Vivekananda molded her character, how she dedicated her life, and Swami Vivekananda said, love India, and she loved India, and her whole heart and soul was India and India and India. That glorious, that spiritual India, that India which preached the whole universe, the message of harmony and peace was manifested through her every movement of life. Most of us are not at all well acquainted with Nivedita's contribution, and Shankari Prasad Basu in India, he was the university professor, Ramtanu Bose Lahiri, no? Ramtanu Bose professor. He did intensive research on Swami Sister Nivedita and wrote a wonderful book called Lokamata Nivedita. And that was the term given by Rabindranath Tagore to honor Nivedita. Lokamata, she was the mother of the Loka, all human personality. She was behind the force, the prime force behind the freedom movement of India. How she supported, how she encouraged, and to instill the spiritual values in the light of Swami Vivekananda. It was her contribution. So we are deeply indebted for her and her wonderful works, and we'll hear from all our Swamis today. And
first of all, I am very happy to be in the midst of you people audience. I convey all my gratitude to Swami Sarvadevananda Ji Maharaj, the head of Vedanta Center of Hollywood, and other Swamis of the Vedanta Center present here, sisters of convents, devotees, ladies and gentlemen. I shall not exceed 15 minutes time. You need not worry at all. There are other speakers, and more interesting than speech is the next program, is a show of films on Nivedita. You see, you will naturally prefer the visual matters more than the audio matters, is it not? All of you will agree to my statement. Anyhow, I am to just start about Nivedita, and as a program is there, Nivedita and Ramakrishna Mission. See, first of all, you must know that Nivedita is the construction of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda discovered she had some potentiality which will be suitable for motherland India, and at the same time to alleviate the sufferings of the common masses in India. In the spirit of Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva, that is, worship of men and women because they are all gods. It's the highest philosophy uttered by Sri Ramakrishna, and it has been learned by Swamiji. So he wanted that if there is an occasion, I shall try to demonstrate it in the whole global atmosphere. So Swamiji came to West and welcoming. Are you ready to dedicate yourself? Any of you? There are so much of audience in England. First it started. Can anybody come? They are hearing his eloquent lectures, and we are fortunate few have come, but fully dedication is not so easy a thing. Here is Nivedita. She came and slowly she wanted to know the culture of India, the motherland of India, and the spirit of Vedanta, and the particular purpose for which Swamiji wanted her to come to India. She wanted to do as maximum as possible. But that also was not an easy thing. Swamiji tested her again and again. And there are series of letters. Swamiji came back to India. Nivedita is very eager for education of the women. So that sort of a developmental work she has to undertake. But Swamiji, again and again, he is asked, Swamiji, what is your program? How I can start? When I can start? All these things. Swamiji never says any affirmative things. Simply, he wants to say, first understand India, learn India, then send her to Holy Mother Sarada Devi. You see, the ideal of Indian womanhood and the ideal for which Ramakrishna Mission stands for. My topic is Ramakrishna Mission and Nivedita. The first introduction of Nivedita through Ramakrishna Mission is sending Sister Nivedita to Holy Mother's feet. Each are not knowing each other's language. Mother did not know English, Nivedita does not know Bengali. It is a surprising thing how Mother could understand what is there in Nivedita, and Nivedita could understand the divinity of the Holy Mother Sarada Devi. Then she started staying with the mother, and some other house was rented. You must have gone through the biography of Nivedita. And days and years are passing. Slowly, Nivedita is thinking that how to start his work. So sometimes he comes in contact with Swamiji and wants to get her advice. Swamiji's most station train is there that you must understand the Indian life, the Indian philosophy, the ideal which the Indian woman cherishes. Then only you will be able to educate them. Regarding other work of human development, Nivedita, we are very surprised to find that an epidemic has started in Calcutta, plague. And Nivedita herself, with broomstick in her hand, with other volunteers, she started cleaning the roads of Calcutta that time and treating those patients of plagues. There is nobody, even people are thinking how a Western lady, how much she had become, she had come to the forefront to do this sort of human service in the streets of Calcutta, being a Westerner lady, and India is a colonized country that time. So it can be understood that how she is following Swamiji, leaving the ego. There are so much of sophistication in the Western culture. Leaving all these things ahead, she wants to dedicate and fully dedicate. Swamiji wanted to test her. How she had been given brahmacharya and Nivedita name had been given. That is a holy occasion. And after Swamiji's passing away, Nivedita was thinking, in the midst, school has been started, and particular day, Holy Mother came and blessed the girl students, young girl students. Swami Brahmananda ji, direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Shardananda ji, they are also present along with Swami Vivekananda. The school inauguration day. And then slowly, she started giving them education. How to start the education, what should be the curriculum and the syllabus that is to be taught. Not in the British or English way. She was teaching in other schools in England. So she had to forego only the basic characteristics is to bringing the self-confidence among the girl students. They do not want to give the students to the schools, the parents. So she has to beg for getting students to the parents of the girls' children. That time, in the very early age, the girls were married. So there is no scope of education. So in that sort of a atmosphere, this whole country is with poverty, degradation, and under colonialization of the British. And that time she was thinking that how India can rise. And ultimately she had to take a decision. What is that? Nivedita joined in the Ramakrishna mission. She was a nun, but she thought of leaving Ramakrishna mission because her prospects and scope of work is having some other ways of doing things, some more things. So I am reading out Nivedita inscribed just 2 words in a diary. That is on July 4th, 1902. Swami died. No words could express the deep sense of loss she felt at heart. But she had no time to sorrow. She has to carry on his work. His words, spoken years ago, rang in her ears. And what is that? It may be that I shall not cease to work. I shall find it good to get outside my body. I shall inspire men everywhere until the world shall know that it is one with God. So, Swamiji told, I am a voice without a form. So, Swami Vivekananda passed away. It had shocked Nivedita very much. But her work, she cannot suspend. With this agony and sorrow she was feeling, because Swamiji is the sole advisor. So, she sometimes comes and asks, and during the time when Swamiji is preparing himself to leave this world, and during that time, Nivedita want to extend his work. So, this strictly spiritual organization, Ramakrishna Mission, Swamiji has laid down its ideals of activities of the Ramakrishna Mission. It is clearly stated, it has been expressed and mentioned by Swamiji in his rules and regulations of the mission, that aims and ideals of the mission being purely spiritual and humanitarian, it has no connection with the politics. Therefore, a few words after the Swamiji's death, Nivedita was found in a grave problem. Within a few days, So, as a monastic member of the order, it becomes obligatory on our part to give up our political associations. And in this time, his own feelings is there. She wants to express to Ramakrishna Mission authorities there. So, she contacted Swami Brahmananda, and a letter had been written to her, and she is tendering her resignation because she had to take part in other socio-political activities which does not come under the scope of the Ramakrishna Mission. She had got full reverence and respect to the Ramakrishna Mission organization, and ideas are ideals. But she felt that those sort of work, if I am to do, then I am to be connected with the socio-political leaders of that time and give them advice. But keeping in her mind the full respects for the Ramakrishna Mott and the Ramakrishna Mission, Swamiji's ideas is to rise the country. Country is to be awakened. And how it is to be awakened? First, the important thing is India had got the spiritual heritage, the cultural heritage. So that heritage, if the persons of India, they came to know, they came to understand that we have got a rich spiritual heritage, then all other things can follow. But Nivedita is having some ideas. She was thinking how that can be possible, because the British rulers are running the country. They do not want that Indian culture should be so much spread all throughout the length and breadth of the land. That will, in an indirect way, giving the people their spirit of self-confidence. So, the warning has been given, just finishing. So that self-confidence, if India gets, it will be difficult for the British to keep their colony. So that was the time. And Nivedita came, she lived up to 1911, and in this short period, 1902 to 1911, after Swamiji's passing away, the school and the spread of education among the masses, and those leaders who are also very, very great and noble people, Aurobindo Ghosh, Bipin Chandra Pal, so they were enlightened with the spirit of Nivedita. So these are the important things we get in the life of Nivedita, we never to be forgotten in the history of India. And now we are trying, just allow me 1 minute time to recite one poem That is the benediction of Swamiji to Nivedita. I shall read it out, only a few lines. The mother's heart, the hero's will, the sweetness of the southern breeze, the sacred charm and strength that dwell on Arya altars flaming free. All these be yours and many more. No ancient soul could dream before. Be thou to India's future son, the mistress, servant, friend in one. Thank you all.
Sarvastaratu Durgani Sarvo Bhadrani Pashyatu Sarvasad Buddhimapnatu Sarva Sarvatra Nandatu. Let everyone be happy everywhere. Om, peace, peace, peace. I want to, at the outset, congratulate Srimad Swami Sarvadevanandaji, other respected Swamijis, respected Paribrajikas, and Brahmacharis and Brahmacharinis, and also your board members and your devotees, friends, for you are the first people to celebrate 150th birth anniversary of Sister Nivedita over here in the Vedanta Society of Southern California. May I expect a clapping? So you are doing it. This is a wonderful life. But my today's topic is totally different. It is Kali Tattva. The principle of Goddess Kali, and of course the Nivedita. I will try to finish it within 15 minutes. Kali Tattva. Now, as a very wonderful person, he was the Padma Bhushan, the highest the reward that is given to a civilian in India, a god to this gentleman, Dr. David Frawley. And he was the Padma Bhushan. His name also afterwards became Vamadeva Shastri. He wrote, Ma Kali is most misunderstood of all Hindu goddesses, though she is often regarded as the most powerful. Kali's dark and fierce form is certainly intimidating and hard to fathom unless one is willing to look behind the veil of sensational images about her. Then he continued, Ma Kali was first introduced to the modern world by Ramakrishna Paramahamsa as the supreme mother of the universe. Through Ramakrishna, the inspiration of Ma Kali awoke India to its ancient spiritual heritage. Now, who is this Ma Kali? In short, Ma Kali is the Kala Shakti, ultimate transforming power of time. Kala means time. Ma Kali is Kriya Shakti, the power of transformation behind the vast movement of life. Kriya means work, movement. Ma Kali is Kundalini Shakti, the secret yogic power of transformation within us. Again, Ma Kali is the inherent power of Mahakala, that is Shiva. And Shiva has two aspects. One is Paramashiva, another is Sadasiva. Paramashiva, we can say, is a Nirguna Brahma of the Vedanta, the Brahman without any attributes. Sadasiva is the Saguna Brahma, Brahman with attributes. In the realization of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, it became Brahma and Shakti are one and the same. In the language of Sri Ramakrishna, Brahma or Shakti Abheda. Again, he said in his own language, Jini Brahma, Tini Shakti. One who is the Brahman and that is also the Shakti. The Ramakrishna explained, when inactive, I call that as Brahman. When creation, preservation, destruction works are done by it, I call that as Adya Shakti, primal energy, Kali. This knowledge is known as Tantra. In the definition of the Tantra, Tanyate Vistarayate Jnanam Anena Iti Tantram. So this knowledge, the knowledge of the unity of the Kali and the Shiva, the knowledge, the consciousness and the activity, the same, that is called Shiva Tattva. And in Sanskrit it is called Samya Rasa. Samya means the same, oneness, Shiva and Kali. And what is Shakti? Allow me to quote some of the Sanskrit, otherwise the wonderful thing will be lost. Shakti means the power, prapancha, vasana rupa, Shakti iti abhidiyate. The Shakti means the power, and power can be called to that consciousness with desire. That is called Shakti. And what is Shiva? Nishparprancha, chideka atma, Shiva tattam samirita. When there is no desire, no action, just like the dead body, Shava, that is called Shiva. Shiva and Shakti are one. Shankaracharya, in his Hara Gauriya Stakam, wonderfully explained, and he is telling, whose half body as Gauri is smeared with sweet fragmented powder, and the other half as Shiva smeared with the ashes from the cremation ground. That's why the male folk cannot use the powder. That's a problem. Whose half body is decorated with jewelries, and the another half covered with snakes. To that Shiva and Shiva I offer my salutation. Kasturika chandana lepanai, smashana bhashmanga vilepanaya, satkundalai fanikundalaya nama Shivai cha nama Shivaya. This is in brief the Shiva Kali Tattva, or the principle. Now the question is how Margaret Elizabeth Noble got this idea, this Kali Tattva, acquainted with this Kali Tattva. In a lecture delivered at the Hindu Ladies Social Club in Bombay in 1902, she said, I was brought up an English woman, and up to the age of 18, I was trained and educated as English girls are. Christian religion doctrines were, of course, early instilled into me. I devotedly worshipped the child Jesus, loved him with my whole heart. And, after the age of 18, I began to harbor doubts as to the truth of the Christian doctrine. Then I plunged in the study of the religion of Buddha. This is in her lecture. But in a cold Sunday afternoon in November 1895 in London at the home of Lady Isabel, when Margaret met the Hindu yogi Swami Vivekananda, she, it seems to me, for the first time heard the word Shiva. As the Swami exclaimed now and again, Shiva, Shiva. Time came when Margaret addressed Swami Vivekananda as her master and wrote, I have recognized the heroic fiber of the man and desired to make myself the servant of his love for his own people. On an extremely cold and foggy winter morning, Margaret left Wimbledon, England, for India, the home of her adoption. On January 28, 1898, she landed on the land of her dream, Calcutta. Swami Vivekananda himself was at the dock to receive her. And Vivekananda wrote to his brother disciple, Swami Ramakrishnananda, Miss Noble is really an acquisition. Margaret's idea about Shiva developed by reading Swami Vivekananda's Shiva Stotram, where Swamiji said, Nikhila bhuvana janma stema bhanga paroha akalita mahimana kalpita yatra tashmin subimala gaganave isha samsta panishe mama bhavatu bhaveshmin bhasuro bhavabandaha. May my luminous love first and form to him the Shiva, in whom arise visions of glories immeasurable. May my luminous love cling to him who is earthly like the sky, who is Lord of all, having no Lord over himself. March 25th, 1898, Swamiji took Margaret to the chapel. Then it was in the Nilambar Mukherjee's garden house, and taught her how to perform the worship of Shiva. And then the great moment came in the life of the Margaret. Swamiji initiated her into Brahmacharya and gave the name Nivedita, the dedicated one. Swamiji asked Nivedita to repeat the holy name Shiva continuously. Don't stop, Swamiji said. Don't stop, even when you are tired. This is the best of all mantras. All the obstacles of your spiritual path will be burned into ashes with the power of this mantra. Remember always, Shiva is the highest guru. His knowledge destroys all ignorance. From now on, you have to travel alone towards the Shiva. Shivaste Panthana Santu. Then Sister Nivedita wrote, Swamiji has dedicated me at the feet of Shiva. Time came when Nivedita realized the import of Shiva and Shakti. She wrote to her in her book, Kali the Mother. The book was written in America and was published in London in 1900. The principle of Purusha and Prakriti is the expression of a great idea. These two again become known as Shiva and Shakti. When individual self become aware about its Atman, the truth reveals. In the Tantra, just like the Vedanta, it says, Kunchukam Achadanam Tena Abritam Shiva Eva Jiva. That means the Shiva means the Atman, when covered by Kunchuka attributes, is known as Jiva, individual self. And in Tantra, Kunchuka are 5. They are Kala, Raga, Vidya, Kala, and Niyati. Don't ask me to explain. He is sitting over there. On January 28, 1898, Nivedita landed in Calcutta. Just one year after, on February 13, 1899, she delivered a lecture on Kali at the Albert Hall, a very famous meeting place in Calcutta. One of Sister Nivedita's biographers described an English woman to speak on Kali was by itself an advertisement. The hall was crammed to its utmost capacity. Her talk created a wave. Dr. Mahendra Lal Sarkar spoke against Kali worship and criticized Nivedita for preaching superstitions. Then came Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda didn't attend that meeting, but he consoled her and inspired her by saying, "Oh, how I used to hate Kali and all her ways. Ramakrishna dedicated me to her, and now I believe that she guides me in every little thing I do." Nivedita's talk was accepted and appreciated by many also. A very rich family, still they are there, Haldars, invited her to speak on Kali at Kalighat temple, a famous pilgrim center for the Shaktas. With the permission and blessings of the Swamiji, Nivedita delivered another lecture on 28 May 1899 on Kali worship. A big crowd of about 3,000 had gathered to listen about Kali from an English lady. Answering all the objections raised against Kali worship, she concluded, "She who stands there surrounded by all that is terrible to humanity is nevertheless the mother, and all we are babes." Sister Nivedita's idea about Goddess Kali was expressed in a nutshell, in a story form, wrote for Mrs. Leggett's young daughter in the Christmas of 1898. That time they used to live in the Beluru Math itself. There's a Leggett house. "Baby darling," Nivedita began, "what is the very first thing you remember? Is it not lying on mother's lap and looking up into her eyes and laughing? Did you ever play hide and seek with your mother? Mother's eyes shut and baby was not. She opened them and there was the baby. Then baby's eyes shut and where was mother? Baby, some people think God is just like that, a great, great mother. So great that all this big world is her baby. God is playing with her baby, the world, and she shuts her eyes. When she shuts her eyes, we call her Kali, and she is everywhere. Glory unto Mother Kali.
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Aviravir Mayedhi Rudrayatte Dakshinam Mukham Tena Mam Pahi Nityam Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from darkness to light, and lead me from death to immortality. O Lord, reach me through and through and protect us forever by their compassionate face. Om, peace, peace, peace. I offer my respectful salutations to Swami Sarvadevananda Ji and all the senior monks present here, the monks of this Vedanta society, the nuns, the brahmacharis, brahmacharinis, the board member, the president himself is here, and all the devotees, admirers of the Ramakrishna Vivekananda movement. Since the university question came up, I'll begin with that anecdote. It was to Nivedita that Swamiji revealed his plan about the university. And there's a record to say that Swami Vivekananda, even at that time, was contemplating an exclusive women's university. In that days, it's almost impossible to think. Even now, we have 650 universities in India, of which there are hardly a dozen universities exclusively devoted to women. So in 1890, to think of an exclusive women's university, only Vivekananda could really do that. Of course, you know how Swami Vivekananda put Nivedita on the job of education of Indian women. It was 2nd of July 1902, just a couple of days before Swami Vivekananda passed away in Mahasamadhi. That was to be on the 4th of July. Nivedita came to her master, Swami Vivekananda, troubled in mind, because the girls wouldn't come to education. In those days, as you know, education was a taboo for women, and it was thought that women will get hopelessly spoiled through education. That is the belief. You know that Sharada Devi herself wanted to read some books. I suppose all of you know that Sharada Devi is one absolutely illiterate person in the whole of Ramakrishna movement, but controlling everybody. She is the power, she was controlling even Ramakrishna himself. And Ramakrishna, at the end of his sadhana, completely surrendered to Holy Mother, worshipped her as the Shodashi, the Divine Mother, and all the sadhana, all the siddhi, all the experiences which he had, he surrendered at Mother's feet. And Mother quietly swallowed all of them. It is not easy to be able to swallow the experiences of a person like Ramakrishna. As the contrast you can see, Ramakrishna's nephew, there is a very strange nephew, Hridayaram Mukhopadhyay. In Ramakrishna's life, some very strange characters appear. One is Pratap Hajra, the other is Mahima Chakravarti, the third was Hridayaram. Hridayaram is a very funny person. He was very close to his uncle, of course. He served him, tormented him also. So Ramakrishna said, there was nobody who served me like that and nobody who teased me and tormented me like him. So the Panchamundi asana is a tantric ritual. There is an asana in which several skulls of so many animals are put there, and Ramakrishna performed his sadhana and attained a very high state of realization. After several years of his performance, Hridayaram went to sit there and suddenly cried out, "Oh Mama," means uncle, "I am just getting burnt out." That was the power. So even to sit in that asana after a couple of years was so terrible. How could this woman, illiterate woman, Sharada Devi, completely absorb, swallow the entire gamut of Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual experiences? It's not easy. I always funnily think, what did Ramakrishna and Sharada Devi do after the Shodashi Puja, the next day? The dawn broke. Ramakrishna's Samadhi perhaps didn't come to an end. But Sharada Devi quietly should have got up, started sweeping the floor and started cooking. That was the power of the lady who would completely absorb and swallow and digest. She was absolutely illiterate. She could not even write her own name, much less to sign. And we preserve with so much of reverence the money order coupon which she received with a thumb impression. So she was Vagdevi Saraswati, we believe, the goddess of learning. That was the specimen. And Vivekananda referred to her for everything in the running of the Ramakrishna Mutt and the Ramakrishna Mission. Nivedita, this Sharada Devi wanted to study. Then Hridayaram went and snatched away the book and said, "You are going to study, you will study novels and get spoiled. No study for women." See how far we have moved from that time. And what was the struggle Nivedita went through? We should just imagine, go back to 1890s and feel the pulse of the country. The country was under British rule, and British would not educate even men, what to speak of women. They had a plan, as you know, Macaulay 1895 proclaimed education for the colonies, particularly the India, and they said, we give them such an education by which they'll appear to be Indians from outside. Within they'll be absolutely thoroughly anglicized. Exactly a year later came Sri Ramakrishna and Kamarpukur, who completely rejected Macaulay education, but chose his best disciples from among those who were educated the Macaulay way. That is the paradox. Now, Nivedita comes to her guru with a troubled mind because women are not coming for education. If 2 days they come, 3 days they don't come. Nivedita had to go from house to house to house to pull girls to education. She came to Vivekananda to ask what kind of curriculum would suit them. How do you motivate these parents and the students to educate these girls? It is recorded, Swami Vivekananda listened quietly for a long time, which is very unusual of him. He spoke less. At the end of Nivedita's deliberation, cry, Swami Vivekananda quietly remarked, "You see, you may perhaps start these subjects or perhaps not. My mind is no longer on such things. I am preparing for death." And he added, "But you should eat your meals with me today." After Nivedita has finished her meals, Swamiji poured water on her hands to wash. Nivedita protested very much. The disciple said, "Swami, what are you doing to me? You are my guru. It's I who should serve you." Swamiji smiled and said, "You see, Jesus the Christ washed the feet of his disciples." Nivedita just had it in the tip of her tongue to say that was the last time they ever met. And Nivedita never met Swami Vivekananda again. On 4th of July, Swamiji passed away. On that occasion, 2nd of July, Swamiji told Nivedita, the spiritual impact which has come to Belur Mutt will last 1500 years. And this will be a great university. Do not think I imagine it, I see it. This was the one sentence which inspired hundreds of the devotees and the admirers and the monks and the followers of Swami Vivekananda for over a century. What kind of university Swamiji would have envisioned? Was it like the Nalanda of the olden times, the Takshashila of the olden times, the monastic university? Was it a university devoted exclusively to philosophy and religion? Again and again, these ideas will surface and resurface, again get drowned in the flowing Ganges near Velur Mutt. During 1963, the centenary of Swami Vivekananda's birth, the idea was taken up very seriously. The then President Swami Madhavanandaji and the then General Secretary Swami Vireshwaranandaji drew plans. They were sent to the government only to be turned down. There was much of despair in the hearts of people. Vivekananda didn't come. Again and again it will come up. Fortunately, it became a reality in 2005, just when Sharada Devi's 150th birth celebration was being conducted at Belur Mutt. So my own imagination is, Sharada Devi must have told Sri Ramakrishna, Amar Narener Name to Vishwavidyalaya hobe na? Will there be no university in my Narayan's name? She made it possible. So Nivedita, as you know, was given this name by Swami Vivekananda himself as the dedicated one, but that is not easy. The transition from Margaret Noble to Sister Nivedita was a great saga, not of smiles, but of tears, blood, toil and sweat, as Churchill used to say. How much she cried, how harshly Swami Vivekananda treated her. See, Vivekananda's treatment of people was not very easy to bear. We are fortunate, at some distance we are bowing down. If we had been living with him, we would be crying every day. It was not easy. This is not my statement. Swami Kailashanandaji, disciple of Mahapurush Swami Shivanandaji, whose scolding I bear for nearly 6 years in my formative period, used to tell us, see, these great disciples of Ramakrishna, Brahmananda, Shivananda, Vivekananda, of course, were not easy people to deal with. You may admire them at this distance, they have passed into history. But thank God you couldn't live with them. Chetananda has a beautiful book. They lived with God and God lived with them. It is not easy to live with them because they lived in such a plane of consciousness. And they wanted to pull us to that plane, as Trigunatita said in San Francisco. You see, I have taken your responsibility. I will throw you into the infinite. I don't care if you break your bones. So we want to keep our bones intact and get trained. That's the problem. You have to break your bones to be able to be trained by these people. Nivedita cried and cried. She was an Irish lady, powerful ego, the pride of the British, as you know. They call it the stiff upper lip of the British. And as proudly they said, sun doesn't set in the British Empire. And somebody quipped, God does not trust the British in the dark. So Nivedita was so proud of herself. Swamiji crushed her ego at every point. She had to surrender. At one point it became unbearable. She cried and broke down. Miss Josephine MacLeod, whom Swamiji loved very much, who called herself a friend of Vivekananda rather than a disciple, she interceded, Swami, she is breaking down. Why do you treat her so harshly? She can't take it anymore. Swamiji became slightly kind, compassionate, looked at the moon. A new moon was rising. You see, the Musalmans think much of the new moon. I am now going to the woods. When I come back, I will bring light. We will start a new life. He was not to be seen for 3 days. When he came back, his face was radiant, and this turbulent, rebellious disciple came to knees, bowed down to Vivekananda, and Vivekananda placed his hands upon her head and blessed her. This was the saga of Nivedita's transition from Margaret Noble to Sister Nivedita. She always wrote N of RKV. Swami Girishanandaji narrated how Nivedita had to separate from the mission for various reasons, because she wanted to have political leanings. Actively, she wanted to get interested in politics to be able to free India, and she knew that Vivekananda would have none of it. But still she wrote N of RKV, Nivedita of Ramakrishna Vivekananda. I'll just make one statement and stop. 3 minutes are still to go. Many of us make a mistake by isolating Vivekananda from Sri Ramakrishna. That mistake should never be done, because Ramakrishna and Vivekananda are twin souls who manifested in two different dimensions for the good of the world. We call them Nara and Narayana. Narayana is God, Nara is the man, Nara Rishi, who takes the brief on behalf of humanity to intercede with the Narayana, even quarrel with him so that humanity may be saved. Narayana is sometimes very strict. So we should remember that except Ramakrishna, leaving him alone, Vivekananda is a nobody, which he himself admitted 100,000 times in his life. In a letter he writes to Mrs. Holy Bull, "You see, you love me for Ramakrishna. That is the secret of my trust in you. Others love me personally, little knowing that leaving Ramakrishna alone, I am only a mass of selfish and foolish emotions." That's Vivekananda's own statement. So Ramakrishna and Vivekananda are two twin souls. And there are some people who believe that the Ramakrishna movement, the Vedanta societies, this Kali Puja and rituals are all not Vivekananda's real teachings. Advaita is real teaching. There are some people who say that Ramakrishna's teachings are highly spiritually oriented. You have to realize God, you have to do sadhana. There's too much of getting involved in their activities is anti-spiritual. Both the views are completely wrong. This was reconciled by Sri Sarada Devi. When there's a big uproar that with the Ramakrishna mission moving along the line of Ramakrishna, many people said Swami Vivekananda perhaps hijacked the Ramakrishna mission to do certain things Ramakrishna wouldn't approve of. Then Nivedita said, this order, this society, this mission will go according to how Narayan has started it and the various activities which is initiated. Those who shall not accept this may please leave. Some of them left. As a mother she cried, but as the head of the order she said, you shall go. So we should remember Ramakrishna Vivekananda is a single entity manifesting in two different ways for certain specific purposes. Nivedita remembered this and knew this. And Swami Vivekananda repeatedly told her that it was Ramakrishna which was guiding her. And as Ishatmanji beautifully said just now, it was Mother Kali behind Ramakrishna. Whenever Swami Vivekananda used to approach him, Ami ki jani re ma shob janen. What do I know? I am only a fool. So the playing the fool was a great trick which Sri Ramakrishna played upon Swami Vivekananda. All the times I don't know anything, pass it on to the mother. Swami Vivekananda said, how I used to hate Kali. I fought my master for 6 long years. When Nivedita felt I could not accept my master, the other disciples very easily accepted him. Why is it that I am not able to accept him? Then Swami Vivekananda turned her and said, let none regret. They find it very hard to surrender. I fought my master for 6 long years and I know every inch of the way, every inch of the way. How I used to hate Kali, but he made me over to her. Whom he called Kali entered into me and she is not giving me rest. I cannot but believe there is a power somewhere which calls itself female and is running the affairs of this universe. No, the thing which made me do it is a mystery which shall die with me. So that power which Ramakrishna called as Kali, which incarnated in the form of Ramakrishna himself. This is Swamiji's words. Will the future of humanity say that Ramakrishna is incarnation of Kali? Yes. She used her pure body and mind for the good of the world. Kali incarnating in the form of Ramakrishna, and Ramakrishna incarnating in the form of Swami Vivekananda made this Nivedita the greatest gift which Swami Vivekananda gave to India and to the world.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishnaya. My salutations to Sri Ramakrishna. My pranams to all the Swamis and nuns and to you all, the members of the Vedanta. If we go back to the timeline, we find in 1995, Swamiji came to London, 1895, sorry. 1895.
We wish he was here in 1995.
Yes. And that was the time in November, Nivedita, at that time Margaret Noble, met him first. And we know there were 15-16 persons present in the drawing room of Margosson, and Nivedita heard a Hindu sage was speaking to Western listeners about eternal religion. That sage was speaking about jnana, bhakti, karma. That sage was speaking about pantheism, monotheism, monism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity. Nivedita attended several lectures. Margaret Noble had many questions in her. Often buts and whys are coming out of her. We find the same thing happened to Vivekananda also when he was in Narendranath. Came to Sri Ramakrishna first. He was not very easy to follow the instruction at the very beginning. He had many questions, lots of questions. He had thrown it to Sri Ramakrishna. Unless he was convinced, he realized, he didn't accept, he was not ready to accept. And Sri Ramakrishna was also very happy with these things that they are testing. Not only Narendranath but other disciples of Sri Ramakrishna also tested him. The same thing happened to Vivekananda and Nivedita also. Swamiji soon went back to America. The next year, 1896, again he came. In April to July, he was in London. And Nivedita was continuing for Vedanta and its unfoldment. We find Nivedita helped Abhedanandaji in absence of Swamiji. When Swamiji left for India, Nivedita helped Eric Hammond, Mrs. Ashton and others. And when the work was stopped, Nivedita worked informal way in favor of spreading Vedantic truth in London itself. Now we find Nivedita is getting more and more acquainted with Ramakrishna Mission and its activities. She was taking interest in it. Brahmananda Maharaj sent reports, and Brahmabadin, a magazine published from Madras, was publishing the works, the reports of Ramakrishna Mission Association, its famine relief work, what was started by another disciple of Sri Ramakrishna Swami, Akhandanandaji Maharaj. Very soon, within 1 month of the establishment of the Ramakrishna Mission Association, 1897, and it was spreading. Soon it was spreading to other areas also. Today's Bangladesh, in Dinajpur area, Swami Trigunatita Maharaj himself started. It spread to Rajasthan, it was spreading its activities in various ways in different areas, and Nivedita was much interested. That was the thing, how Nivedita was getting more and more drawn to the cause of what Swamiji set in front of her. Now, we find next January 1898, she landed in Calcutta. Already we have heard Swamiji was in the dock to receive her. We know soon we find Sharadanandaji Maharaj, who was brought to the West by Vivekananda himself, was drawn back to India. Swamiji gave him the responsibility to shoulder the post of secretary, today's general secretary of our order. In those days it was secretary of Ramakrishna Mission Association, and with him came Oli Bull and MacLeod in India. Nivedita became acquainted with them, and in the next March, almost at the end of March, we find Margaret Noble was initiated into Brahmacharya ceremony and became Nivedita, the literally dedicated. Now this is the timeline we were referring to. Now we know that was the day of Annunciation. The Gabriel came, and we know it was declared God is going to be born. Now Nivedita was born in the womb of Margaret Noble at the same time. Soon we will find how Nivedita was born and will spread the message of Vivekananda, will become the true disciple of Swami Vivekananda, and who will sacrifice her whole life for India. And how Nivedita led her life. If we go through the life of Sister Nivedita, elaborately it is stated. But our point was disciple of Swami Vivekananda. Now, we should know that Nivedita started her school in Calcutta during these days. Just on the day of Kali Puja, it was started. And we must remember, she had her own experience in London. Nearly 10 years experience she had before going to India. We know when he landed, he befriended many. One of them was Lavanyabala Bosu. Lavanyabala Bosu was the sister of Jagadish Chandra Bose, the famous scientist. Lavanyabala Bosu already was running a school. Nivedita visited, befriended them, the whole family, Jagadish Bose, his wife. Nivedita visited the school run by Ganga Mata. The same school was run by that old pious saint Ganga Mata, Kali Mata Pathshala. Swami Vivekananda also visited that school and praised how in oriental way, not in the occidental way, the school was run by Ganga Mata. Nivedita visited Bethune School College, in those days famous educational institution for girls established by Bethune. Now, then he started her own school, of course, not in the way of Western thoughts, the way Swamiji wanted, in that way, to make India rise, to follow the Vedantic ideals, to translate it into our own lives. Now, when we look back to Nivedita's the beginning days, so to say, to Nivedita, religion was not a doctrine. Actually, born in a pious family, soon after growing, Nivedita started questioning the beliefs and doctrines. Nivedita was searching for that divine light that brings enlightenment. That's why he was drawn towards Buddhism, and he questioned Vivekananda. Nivedita, when came to India and started working for Swamiji's work, Swamiji's ideas, and when went back to America, here he came and found it is not very easy to get money for work. It is always everywhere. Now also, Maharaj, Manager Maharaj, he knows very well how to get money, how it is very difficult to get money for the expansion and other things. Maharaj also knows how it is difficult to get money for university also. The same thing was there then. Nivedita also found it very difficult. Not only that, he found some were very much critical to these ideas. She had to withstand. How Nivedita saw Swami Vivekananda. To become a true disciple, one had to pass through several tests. How much she is or he is dedicated, how much he or she can do for Guru, and how to know the relationship between the Guru and the disciple. We can scan their letters to each other or their letters to other people describing them. We find Swamiji's letters to Nivedita, we find the name of Nivedita or the reference when Swamiji referred to others. We know Nivedita also wrote the letters to Swamiji and Nivedita's letters to others, especially the letters to MacLeod. So much revealing, so much enlightening, when we will find in future Nivedita was writing the letters explaining her stand in the later years, keeping the eyes on those days when she came to Swami Vivekananda first and was trying to understand. When Nivedita wrote the introduction of complete works of Swami Vivekananda, we find how Nivedita saw Vivekananda and the Hinduism and the preaching and Swamiji's standpoint. It is marvelous. We find Nivedita writes, as a disciple of Vivekananda, not only that, we know she always wrote Nivedita of Ramakrishna and Vivekananda. She wrote long after English language disappeared from India. The English knowing people that will remain and bear its fruits in the East and West alike through Swamiji's writings. Hinduism don't merely tolerate but unite with every religion. He understood Swami Vivekananda in that line. And it was not only some dogmas or the philosophies. To Nivedita, Swamiji was the principle and from the days of ancient days of Vedas, even 500 years back, when Buddhism was being born, from long back, the